Hi everybody, Simon here, projects in the barn, and I'm just coming back down the barn again to do a bit more work on the XKR. I did notice on the video I put up yesterday, the last one, I've sort of put a different camera program on my phone to work with the microphone, and the microphone's working great, but it just happens that the camera tends to lose focus a little bit. So I've upped the image quality. See if that makes a difference. So, right, let's get in. I'll leave the door open. I left it closed last night because the wind was howling. It's a bit of a nicer day today, although still windy. So, we'll just recap. Back down in the barn again. And I'm just going to carry on with the rear subframe where I left off yesterday. What I'll quickly do is I'm going to go around the opposite side and remove the brake disc, undo the same bolts or loosen off the same bolts as I'll do on this side. Once I've done that, I'll come back to the video and then we can look about what else we need to do. So I think after we've done that, it'll just be the prop. So undo all the prop bolts. We'll mark up the prop where it bolts onto the rear diff, so it can go back on the same way, so we reduce the risk of any sort of imbalance issues after we reattach everything back together. Handbrake cable, I might remove the rear anti-roll bar, maybe the shocks. I'll just strip off what I can that's easily accessible just to reduce the weight of me getting it out. So we'll see where we go. But I'll whip over the other side a minute, I'll loosen off those other ones, and then we'll take back underneath the car and we'll show you the prop shaft, where that all undoes, and the handbrake cable system, and the easiest way I think where we need to disconnect that. But without getting underneath the car, I'm not going to know yet how I'm going to do it. So anyway, let's get to it, shall we? I'll set you up, and then we'll get underneath the car, and like I say, I'll come back and show you what I'm doing in a minute. Okay, so the other side is loosened off as easy as this side, so that's happy days. So what I want to do, I'll take you underneath the car, hopefully the image stays the right way up, and we'll look at the, put my light on, we'll look at the prop shaft, and hopefully we'll be able to show you what needs to undo and the handbrake assembly. So again, I'm at the rear right of the car, and I'm hoping it stays focused. Right, so we've got the handbrake assembly, which is, there's the sort of balance adjuster there onto the mechanism. So that's probably the easiest place to take it off there. I would say, I don't know, it depends how rusty it is. Try and get a good focus on that. So we've got that to do. And then we've got the prop shaft bolts. I'm sort of laying the wrong way really to show you. Bear with me. I can't really see what I'm doing, but hopefully you can see the prop shaft bolts there. I don't know, can you? It's a bit difficult to show you. Right, let's try from here. So hopefully you can see where my fingers are, hopefully. So we need to undo these so we can release the prop shaft. Right, you can see now underneath while I'm taking it down. It would just be a nightmare, impossible job to try and clean all this up underneath here. So with it down and out of the way, I think we'll be on to a winner. So let me get back up top. I'll pause the video to save you listening to me moaning and groaning, and we'll get onto it. Right. Okay, I did have my hoodie on, but now I've taken off. So I've put my microphone onto my t-shirt. Hope you can hear me. Hopefully I've got the camera set up in some kind of position that's relevant. So looking along where the handbrake cable fits up on this loop, obviously balances across to each side of the rear handbrake. This is where you can take up just your slack or otherwise, and I noticed here there's actually a fitting which should allow me to release the cable on one side. If I undo this enough to slacken the cable, they should come together and allow me just to pop the cable off one side or the other just to free this off. But before I do that, it'll probably make no difference, but I'm just going to put a piece of tape around where it currently is, just so I've got some kind of reference for when I put it back on of where it was. It will all have to be adjusted up anyway, so I'm going to replace the rear brakes completely. But you know, you never know, it may well help me. So I just need to undo that one now, put some slack in that. So that looks like probably a 17mm or something close to that. So what have I got here? Oh, I'll try with that one. Oh, I could have prepped this, couldn't I? But oh no, way off. That's a 15. So I'm going to say things must look different when you're upside down. Let's go for this 13. And yep, 13 it is. So we'll loosen that off. I have got my windy gun down here. I've not got the ratchet for this side socket. That's up at the house. So we'll see how we go. Oh, that's loose enough. I don't know if I'll be able to get the gun on there with that size socket. I'll try a minute just to speed the process up, but I don't think it will. No. 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 Right, I'm going to have to go and get me a socket for that one. So we can always come back for that one. I don't want to get out from here just to go and get that. So then we've got the prop shaft here. So I'm hoping we can rotate it round. I'll have to check to see if the car is in neutral or not, so we can get around it. So I think we'll do that now. I'll just check the car, see what gear we're in, if we're in a gear, to see if I can rotate the prop shaft round. Hopefully I can, otherwise it's going to be a bit of a pain to get to. So I'll just get out from under the car and do that, and then we'll come back and reassess the situation. Okay, I'm back. I have a ratchet. So hopefully not too much problem. We can undo this. like the sound of that. Don't like that popping sound. Let's get the old WD-40 on there, shall we? I think we'll get some of that. We'll give it a soak in for a couple of minutes and see if that does the job. Right. So I've got some WD-40 on there. I also put the car in neutral. It was in park. And so I wonder why my right hand rear brake moved. I took my disc off yesterday, even though it's in park. I don't know. Right, talk to myself. So yeah, so I've put some WD-40 on the bolts that hold the prop on as well. So now hopefully that's better. Yeah, that's not been adjusted for some considerable time. Like most of this car. So I only need it loose enough to get this out from the adjuster. God, that's pretty rusty, to be fair. What's the chances of that even coming apart? Probably pretty slim. We might have to add new handbrake cables to the list, which, if that's the case, I may as well just bloody cut that. They're proper. In there tight. And I can't even spin that collar around, so I'm sure you're supposed to have to, but I'll keep working on this, otherwise I'll be filming myself doing this all day. It doesn't make for good entertainment. I'll show you the result in a minute. Right, as suspected, it's not coming undone, so I'm going to cut the cable and we'll just replace the cable because it's pretty hammered. So watch your ears. There we go. So I was here for a good 10 minutes or so trying to undo that, but I don't know if you can see or not, but it's put a little buckle in that. I could have, I guess, took that pin out, removed that split washer, taken the pin out, I guess. But yeah, that's solid. That needs some work. But yeah, the cable itself, you can see the, well, you might not be able to see, but all the plastic cabling is totally frayed, and this join here is totally corroded up, and I never would have got that out. So if we're going to refurbish all the brakes, we're going to refurbish this rear, we may as well yeah, may as well just go for it, haven't we? stop the mucking about. Let's just go for it. Right, and all I'm going to do now is just take the tiniest line across the rear prop shaft where it joins onto the differential, just to give me a guide when I put it back together again. So I'll know when those two holes line up, will be somewhere near it. So I just want to get in a position where I can do that without sort of cutting into anything else, which will be somewhere around there. I'm just going to move that cable out of the way a minute. We'll just tuck it in back there, just to stop it from interfering with me grinder. You could of course do this with any other tool or implement. I'm obviously working out as I go, and I think I'll just cut across there. I'll just spin that around, give me better access to avoid the bolts. And like I say, it's not going to take anything out of the way, it's going to be the tiniest, faintest little line. So there we have it. Just a, I don't know if you can see that or not. Probably not. I might need to come in board a little bit more, which I think I will. Bear with me. I'm trying to do this without cutting anything else. I don't think it's come across far enough. I'll go get another file or something. That didn't work. It just was slightly too big. So I'll get a file or something to make my mark properly. Okay, I don't know if it picks it up on camera or not. But I've made a little score to follow that line on, so I know it's all in the same place. Whether it's relevant or not, I don't know. But I've done it. So when I take it down, when I take all this rear subframe down with the diff on, I'll make sure that mark is properly there before I clean all that back. Otherwise it'll be in vain and I'll lose the position. So I will make sure that I do that. Okay, so next thing is the prop shaft. So I'm going to say that's 13mm again, which it is. I'm not sure if they're nuts on the back or welded on. So we'll have a look. I'll get the tools and give it a go when I've got the right tool size. Right then, hopefully you can still see what we're doing. You can see my spanner on there, so that's on the nut on the rear. That's 17mm, and then I've put a little wobble joint on my socket. Is that going to work? No. So it might be all spannering. Yeah. Someone kindly said to me in my comments the other day that they bought a hydraulic ramp. It's the best thing they ever done in the workshop. And those that don't know, I used to have a 2-poster ramp in my last barn, and it was lush. So I said to him, you know, when I've made all my millions from YouTube, I might treat myself to one, but at the moment, unfortunately, we're here on our backs. Cool, blimey, governor. That is tight, as you would expect. Oh, jeez Louise. Need some bit more length, I think. Make sure I'm doing it the right way. Unlike me bleed nipple. Those that remember me doing that. Oh my word! You just can't get any purchase on there. Can't get a socket. I can't get the round head of the spanner. It hits the differential, so I've got an open-ended, and the 13mm socket is obstructed by the prop shaft UJ to sit on there properly and square. So I can't even get like a leverage from a breaker bar or something like that. And again with the access here, I need a longer 13mm. I need the handle to be a lot longer. For me to get some leverage on there. So let me find something I can put on there to undo that. Right, we'll go old school mechanics. Got another spanner. So we'll hook into the open-ended part. Oh. Try and hold everything together and go again. Yes, come on. Yes. Ooh. Yeah, it is a nut and bolt. So I'm actually going to whiz round, undo all of those, and I'll come back to you when I've done that. But I'll just use the spanner way, so you don't see all of that. Because again, that'd be boring. Okay, right. It's getting dark down there. So it's taken a little while on the last one, but I've managed to put a thinner socket on my ratchet, and which does go on there, so I've just got to break it loose. Oh. So this is the last one. I've done the other three. I've left them in place. Oh. I hope this is staying focused. And then we'll undo the last bit with the windy gun. And then typically we'll have to try and get the bolts out because they're flanged headed bolts. I tell you what, it's so much more work, more exhausting laying on your back. And that sounded like a bit of a worse. My back's still not right. So this is kind of taking its toll. Oh, I'll be suffering tomorrow. But I gotta get it off. Oh, it's in your arms. Oh, I'm getting so old. Okay, so that's loosened it off. So hopefully now I'll be able to undo it. And then we have it. That's all 4 of them off. I'll say they're flange headed bolt. Oh, that one come out. Flange headed. Just wind the nuts back on. Oh, start to see it separate. 2 out. Now there is a catcher here, steel plate above it, so it's not going to drop down too far. There we go. Get those other bolts out. And there we have it. Prop shaft loose. Oh. So you have it. Handbrake prop shaft is now detached from the rear differential. Handbrake cable we will have to replace. I think we'll take all this down anyway to clean it up. But there we have it. Right, let's get out from under the car. Oh. Right, let's get the camera. I just switched off, which I didn't mean to do. Oh. But there we have it. So we have rear hangers loosened off, the 4 bolts holding up the spring shock assembly loosened off, the rear bush on the rear carrier loosened off, disc off, caliper off, same on the opposite side, prop shaft off, handbrake cable. Now the only thing left to undo is, see the over axle part of the exhaust, that flat squashed bit here. If you follow it up around, it's really difficult to see. Can you see the hanger? Well, the other side of the hanger is a couple of fixings which holds the exhaust to it, but the exhaust I'm going to replace, so I think I'll remove the bracket here. I'll take off the back box properly, but I think I'm just going to cut the over axle pipe, like it or not. Unfortunately, that's what I am going to do, because I am going to replace it. And nobody wants old second-hand bits of exhaust, do they? And then turn that torch off. And then we'll be able to lower it down. But anyway, that's been going on for a little while now. Stage 2 complete. So I think probably next time we come down here, we'll take off the exhaust. I still might take off the rear anti-roll bar, just to reduce the weight, and see about getting it down, shall we? So that's another day down at the barn complete. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this little series that we're doing. If you do, I would really appreciate it if you took the time out to give me a thumbs up if you like it. Leave a comment in the section below. I do reply to every comment, good or bad. And please share it with like-minded individuals that are into Jaguars, especially XK8s, XKRs, X100s. Yeah, it'd be great to try and build the channel up. And please press the subscribe button if you haven't yet done so. It doesn't cost you anything. It's totally free. But as I said in the last video, it really helps the channel and gets the search engine to work its magic to get my searches towards the top. I don't know. Something like that. So there we go. I'll see you next time on the next instalment of the rear subframe removal here at Projects in the Barn. But from me, Simon, I'll see you next time round. From me and the Jag. Bye for now. See you later, everyone. Bye.